Hello, this is Patrick Plain from group number 10. This is our final project report for November 26th, 2014. So today we're going to discuss our project site a little bit, then go into an activity analysis and observations, followed by our crew balance with workflow suggestions and a brief discussion on safety as well. The project we chose was the Marina Heights project in Tempe on the north side of Rio Salado Parkway in between Mill Avenue and Rural Road. This is the future Southwest regional hub for State Farm Insurance. It's being built by Ryan Construction Company in partnership with Sunbelt Holdings. Construction began early summer 2014 with an expected completion date of Q3 in 2017. The first of 5 buildings will be open the second quarter of 2015. This is a $600 million project that occupies about 2 million square feet of office, commercial, and retail. So on our observations, or on our site visits rather, we observed ironworking, framing, grading, concrete, masonry, and painting. We observed a little over 1,000 work units, and roughly 30% of which averaged out was represented by direct work. So if we look across the timeline here from our times of visits, we did from 7 a.m. to roughly 1 p.m. on several different days. And again, if you just kind of look across the board, it's fairly consistent that direct work represents roughly 30% of all observations. The highest level of productivity was achieved in mid-morning, sort of an hour or so after the shift began. Most of the workers seem to start their day at 6 and finish up about 2. There was a decline that was predictable around the lunch break hour, and also toward the end of the day, at the end of their shift as well. So on our observations, roughly 300 were direct work out of roughly 1,000. Another 450, 500 were represented by support work, with the remaining small percentage being delays, personal or otherwise. So for our crew balance, we decided to observe a 6-man team. 3 of them were on a floor table, which happened to be the 4th floor of this building being constructed. They were pouring columns with inside these forms around the rebar, and there was 1 concrete truck operator, a crane operator, and then a spotter on the ground as well. So the dashed lines here represent the table floor as well as the columns being poured. There were, again, 3 workers on the table floor pouring columns, 1 concrete truck operator, a spotter, and a crane operator as well, and a large T crane. So the biggest observation that we had was that the workers all seemed to be disconnected and really just relied on communication from 2-way radios for each other. The spotter on the ground, his sole task was to blow a whistle when the crane was overhead. And the spotter and the concrete truck operator can't see each other because of the position of the truck. The workers on the floor table pouring the columns, are vibrating and positioning for receiving the bucket. So our cycle was about 15 minutes. The most unproductive worker, the one probably most easily replaced, would be the spotter on the ground. He really only added 5 effective units. Our total units observed was 90, 34 effective for an effectiveness of 38%. The concrete truck operator actually had less effective units, but his job is more skilled than the spotter, because there is you do have to be able to estimate, how much material is in the bucket as well as in the chute, so that you're not wasting material or dumping it on the ground. So our proposal was to eliminate the spotter and rotate the concrete truck 90 degrees so that the concrete truck worker or operator assumed the responsibility of the spotter, which was to blow a whistle or signal when the crane was overhead. We thought of adding a simple siren, some sort of low-tech, just audible siren that the concrete truck operator can turn on and off so that they don't have to blow a whistle while pouring concrete into a bucket. With the simple change like that, we could increase effectiveness and also reduce the amount of man hours for the tasker or work units total. So it not only increases effectiveness but also reduces cost because of less units worked. So we can see here that the concrete truck operator would assume the task of the spotter by hitting a siren 2 minutes before filling the bucket and then turning it off after he's finished filling the bucket. That would bring our total units down to 75 with an effectiveness of now 45%. Finally, we'll discuss the safety. The culture of Ryan Construction is that they're very proactive with safety. They have all of their expectations for dress and safety equipment clearly posted in the office. PPE is definitely strictly enforced. All workers must wear closed-toed shoes, safety glasses, hard hats, and bright vests at all times. Sunglasses do not count as safety glasses. They said you can use tentable or tinted safety glasses, but not sunglasses. A little bit more about their culture. They have in their weekly or in one of their daily meetings every week, they have a what they call a toolbox talk, which is to discuss current safety issues and improvements. They also have a yearly safety award banquet for their safest subcontractors, which is actually nice because it does sort of motivate the subcontractors to adhere to their programs and perform and operate safely as well. While on site, we never felt unsafe and did observe, redundancies in safety, such as designated areas for walking, several spotters and people blowing whistles while heavy equipment was moving, and just in general seemed to foster a safe environment. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed it, and take care.